A young woman, Xiaomei, finds herself in a world where each husband she takes increases her beauty by 10 points, but a certain dark-skinned, ugly woman, Ning, would rather have 0 beauty points than keep her 5 perfect husbands. She sells them all, as it turns out they were all her sister's cast-offs. What's more, her crush is now her sister's fiancé. To win him back, Ning sells her house and her 5 husbands to buy him a 10 million credit gift. But in the process, the husbands are tormented and transform into villains, each one vowing revenge. Suddenly, Ye Yaoxi, a new person, wakes up in this ugly woman's body. She finds herself at her sister's and crush's engagement party. The original body's owner already gave away the gift, and before Xiaoxi can reclaim it, her crush, Grace, swallows it. "Thank you, Xiaoxi. I feel so much stronger after absorbing this," he says. Xiaoxi's eyes well up with tears. That was 10 million credits. The original owner mortgaged her house to get it, and if she can't pay it back, she'll be a homeless female. In a fit of rage, Xiaoxi grabs a glass bottle and throws it at Grace. Her sister, Karina, is shocked. "She's gone crazy, even hitting Grace. Get her out of here, she's an embarrassment," she shouts. If not for the interstellar law that forbids killing females, Karina would have already done away with her. Ignoring her, Xiaoxi pounces on Karina and slaps her. "Give me back my money," she yells. Karina is dazed and forgets to fight back. Security guards quickly drag Xiaoxi away, throwing her out and locking the heavy doors. Xiaoxi, left alone, cries tears of frustration. Before she can recover from losing 10 million credits, a piercing alarm sounds from her system. "Host, your 5 husbands. Corruption levels are maxed out. You must save them and stop them from getting worse, or you will die," the system warns. The original owner sold all 5 husbands except for the white tiger, Rainey, who is in the hospital after a serious injury and whose medical expenses she stole. The other 4 were sold. The ink serpent, a failed alchemist, was sold to an underground fighting arena. The seductive-looking firefox was sent to a nightclub as a gigolo, his enchanting tail feathers plucked. The golden finch was sold to a pervert who collects scraps. Even the most loyal gray wolf was sold to a lab for inhumane experiments. Just then, her wristband vibrates. "Ms. Ye Zhaoxi, your husband, Rainey, is no longer receiving treatment due to non-payment. Please pick him up, or he will be forcibly evicted to the outer city." Zhaoxi fishes out her last few credits and takes a public flyer to the hospital. In the hospital room, Rainey is wrapped in bandages like a mummy, his left leg amputated. Only his bare knee bone remains. Xiaoxi almost mistakes him for a corpse. Rainey was a promising combat commander and Karina's fiancé, but he was injured protecting citizens during a beast riot and became disabled. As a result, his family deemed him a disgrace and gave him to the original owner. A nurse looks at Xiaoxi with concern. "Ma'am, the patient isn't out of danger. Are you sure you want to take him home?" Xiaoxi hesitates and asks her system for help. "System, give me some money so he can continue his treatment." The system replies, "You've got some nerve. This system won't provide money. Earn it yourself," Xiaoxi says. "Then give me my cheat code. Every system gives the protagonist a cheat code," the system responds. "Host, you seem to have misunderstood your role. You're a supporting character at best. Be grateful to the beast god you're even alive, let alone getting a cheat." "Then what use are you useless system?" Xiaoxi asks. "Don't be mad, host. Your dark skin is caused by prenatal toxins. You can get an antidote by saving the villains and raising your beauty level. Completing the task will allow you to return to the modern world, and you'll be rewarded with an endless supply of money and eternal youth." Swayed by the system's promises, Xiaoxi discharges Rainey. The plot says he won't die, and she has no money anyway, her house being mortgaged and all. She finds a cushion, straps it to Rainey's back, and drags him to a shelter. The shelter provides free lodging, clean water, and nutrient paste for single, elderly females, so at least they won't starve. A robot in a white uniform greets her. "Hello, I'm Caretaker 0788, responsible for your check-in." He takes Xiaoxi to room 25, glances at Rainey, and opens a low cabinet. "Please put your luggage in here." Xiaoxi hesitates, thinking it's a bit rude to put a person in a cabinet. Caretaker 0788 doesn't insist. "One free bottle of nutrient paste is supplied daily. You can summon me anytime if you need me." With that, he leaves. Xiaoxi surveys the small, Spartan room. It has a private bathroom, and the bed is sized for a female, so it's not a good fit for a male. When she drags Rainey onto the bed, his injured leg barely fits, and his other one dangles on the floor. Xiaoxi takes the clear nutrient paste, drinks half of it, and her hunger subsides. She feeds the rest to Rainy and starts thinking about how to make money. In her past life, she was a music student and knew many instruments, but now she has none. Should she sing for money? She opens her wristband and searches for music charts. The #1 song is a piano piece by Princess Anna Wilson. She clicks on it, but it's a paid track and cuts off after 10 seconds. Even so, she realizes that the song is just a minor pop hit in her old world, not even worthy of being in her playlist. She feels a surge of confidence that she can make money by adapting songs from her memory. Host, shouldn't that be called plagiarism? The system asks. Shut up. Do you want to make money or not? Yes, plagiarize away. Xiaoxi rolls her eyes and registers as a musician. Her username is broke as a can. She hopes a kind deity will see her name and give her more money. Without an instrument, she can only sing. She uses whistling for the intro, then sings a song called Fairy Tale Town. Since the intergalactic world has no fairy tales, she adds a brief summary to her song description to help with the listening experience. After uploading her first song, Xiaoxi worries that singing alone isn't enough and decides to try out instruments at a music store. She wraps a green towel from the shelter around her face, showing only her eyes, and enters a luxurious music shop. A female dressed in a glamorous uniform approaches her with a hint of arrogance. Hello, are you a member of our shop? Xiaoxi knows she can't reveal she's poor. My butler usually buys my instruments. I'm just passing by and wanted to see what's new. She glances dismissively at a piano nearby. My family already has 8 of this model. Show me something else. Another staff member eyes her. Quote, sorry, this piano is a custom order for our prestigious top-tier member. It's the only one of its kind. Do you have a membership card? I went too far with the act, Xiaoxi thinks. Just as she's about to leave, a group of reporters with cameras rushes in, pushing her into a corner. I heard Princess Anna Wilson is giving a public performance to attract the reclusive master composer Pierre to write a new piece for her. The shop entrance is blocked, and Xiaoxi's face is pressed against the glass. Look, here comes Princess Anna Wilson, a voice exclaims. Cameras click as Anna, in a luxurious gown, steps out of a royal flyer and walks gracefully into the shop. Thank you all for coming. Today's piece will be free to listen to, and I hope it brings you joy. She sits down at the limited edition piano, bows elegantly, and begins to play. Everyone listens in silence. At the end of the song, the crowd bursts into applause. Only an old man with a white beard, sitting on a bench by the door, sighs. Too much pride, not a future master. What a pity. His words are lost in the applause. Anna smiles gracefully and, escorted by guards, leaves with the piano. The crowd disperses like a tide, and a staff member notices Xiaoxi. Why haven't you left? Who said you could stay and listen to Princess Anna's performance? As if I want to listen to her play, Xiaoxi retorts. I could do better with my feet. To prove it, she takes off her shoes and plays a short piece with her toes. The staff member's face freezes in shock, and the old man at the door turns to her in surprise. After playing, Xiaoxi quickly puts her shoes back on and flees. As she leaves, she bumps into the old man, who falls to the ground. Grandpa, look closely, Xiaoxi says, showing her account balance. I'm broke. You're out of luck. With that, she runs away. Unbeknownst to her, the old man is Pierre, the legendary music master. He's been lauded his entire life as a musical genius and has been captivated by the Princess Anna, a known master musician. But now, he wants to take this shabby female, Xiaoxi, as his student. At the same time, a reporter accidentally records Xiaoxi playing the piano with her toes and uploads it online. The clip of, quote, her piano skills are better than music genius, Princess Anna Wilson, becomes a viral sensation. Everyone is looking for the green towel-headed piano player. A famous music company even offers a $1 million credit reward for the copyright to her piece. But Xiaoxi is unaware of all this. She's busy trying to make a few credits. After her failed attempt at the last shop, she chooses a small, unassuming one. She politely asks the kind owner if she can use an instrument and manages to record her piano piece. She uploads it to the music platform and returns to the shelter, hungry. Xiaoxi checks on Rene, making sure he's still breathing. She then begs the robot caretaker for another bottle of nutrient paste. The robot only gives her tomorrow's ration. She and Rainy split it, and she worries they'll be hungry tomorrow. Xiaoxi sighs, lies down, and falls asleep. In her sleep, her wristband constantly buzzes with notifications of increasing income. In this world, loud battle rock is everywhere due to constant beast attacks, leaving people on edge with headaches and insomnia. But Xiaoxi's music soothes people. When an old soldier suffering from insomnia hears her song, he excitedly shares it with his comrades. Soon, even the military radio starts playing Xiaoxi's music. The next day, Ye Xiaoxi opens her account to find she's earned over 30,000 credits. Rich! She immediately craves braised pork and spicy crayfish. But when she opens the delivery app, she sees that a single meal of natural food costs at least 4,000 to 5,000 credits. With the money she has, she couldn't even afford rice, let alone meat. All she can buy is some cheap, fruit-flavored nutrient paste. Host, why are you only thinking about food? The system chimes in. Shouldn't you redeem the villain first? Xiaoxi, with tears in her eyes, closes her mouth. She figures her current funds are only enough to redeem the Golden Finch, whom the original owner sold as scrap. She looks at her balance one last time, frustrated. Why do I have to pay the original owner's debt? She complains to the system. Because if you don't, you'll die, it replies. At the scrapyard, the Golden Finch is nowhere to be found. Even the staff member who bought him, Harry, hasn't been to work in days. Xiaoxi finds Harry's house, rings the doorbell, and knocks. She hears a faint sound inside, but no one answers. A faint smell of blood seeps from under the door. System, open the door, she says. Host, breaking in will attract the police, the system warns. What's the point of having you if you can't even open a door? Can't you just block the signal? As soon as she says that, a click is heard, and the lock opens. Inside, a large, terrified body lies on the floor, its eyes wide with frozen fear. Doesn't he look nice? A hoarse voice whispers in Xiaoxi's ear. A blood-stained hand grabs her neck. Ugly creature, let's die together, okay? Which way do you want to go? The Golden Finch says, with a twisted smile. Xiaoxi looks at the Golden Finch. His beautiful wings are gone, replaced by bloody holes. I know you've suffered, but I earned money and came back to redeem you right away. I promise I'll never hurt you again, she says earnestly. The Golden Finch is stunned. Since when did this ugly creature's eyes become so clear? Before he can think more, police sirens blare outside. A squad of armed robots arrives at Harry's door. Warning! Unauthorized entry into a private residence is forbidden. Everyone inside, put your hands on your head and squat down, the robots command. The Golden Finch's hand goes limp as he sees Xiaoxi run toward the police, gesturing frantically. He watches her, a sad smile on his face. She's trying to get the police to kill me, he thinks. I almost killed her, and now she's getting her revenge. He lowers his head, wondering if the lasers will pierce his heart or his head. He had killed Harry because he couldn't bear the torment anymore. It's a pity about my brother, he thinks. Who will protect him after I'm gone? The Golden Finch makes no attempt to resist as several police robots approach him. But they walk past him and check the body on the floor instead. Criminal Harry is dead, one says. He had a history of violence. The female victim is in shock. The robot then looks at the stunned Golden Finch. Are you Ms. Ye, Xiaoxi's partner? Although you were injured fighting the criminal, females are fragile. Please accompany her to the psychological counseling center. It's not until they're in the police flyer that the Golden Finch realizes he's not under arrest. He looks at Xiaoxi, who's shrinking away from him, keeping her distance. He doesn't understand. Harry had drugged him and put an anti-ability collar on him, whipping him and stabbing him with knives and hammers daily. He took advantage of a moment of Harry's carelessness and killed him. He didn't expect the ugly woman to find him before he could escape. But he figures whatever her motive is, it can't be worse than death. The Golden Finch sighs in relief and falls asleep. After her therapy session, Xiaoxi finds the Golden Finch sitting quietly outside, his wound still untreated, blood dripping from his wings. A small cleaning robot is constantly cleaning the floor. Please don't spit, it says. Please don't spit blood. Xiaoxi can't help but laugh. The Golden Finch looks up, his confusion growing. The ugly creature never laughed before. She just ranted and hit people. Has her rabies been cured, he wonders? He follows Xiaoxi back to the female shelter. The caretaker robot scans him and warns, do not bring males into the female shelter. But Rainy is allowed in because the robot registered him as luggage. Xiaoxi transfers 10,000 credits to the Golden Finch. Why don't you go rent a room outside, she says. He doesn't answer. He looks at the tiny spot on the floor next to Rainy, where this malicious female sleeps. He's not concerned about her situation. Since she's letting him go, he's happy. He turns to leave. "Wait," Xiaoxi says, handing him a small healing device. "I bought this for your injuries. Take good care of yourself." It's a device she spent 10,000 credits on before leaving the therapy center. The golden finch's heart flutters. He clenches his fist. This devious female is trying to toy with my heart. He fiddles with the device, standing outside the room for a long time. "Congratulations, host. Golden Finch's corruption level has dropped by 10%, the system says." "Great! Can I get a reward?" Xiaoxi asks. "No, host. You must clear all of your husband's corruption levels first. The gray wolf, Xiao, is at max level. You must go to the lab to save him immediately." The gray wolf was the most obedient of the 5 husbands. He never complained even when the original owner abused him daily, so Xiaoxi wonders why his corruption level is so high. Xiaoxi takes a special flyer to the lab. The receptionist looks up Xiao's information and gives her a regretful expression. "I'm sorry, ma'am, this male has died from a drug reaction," she says. "His contract was indefinite, and his mistress signed a liability waiver, so we haven't violated any rules. But the system shows that Xiao's corruption level is still rising, meaning he's alive." Xiaoxi rolls her eyes at the receptionist. "I'm his mistress," she says. "I demand you stop the experiment and hand him over." The receptionist pulls out a death certificate. "Ma'am, he's dead and has been cremated. Please accept our condolences." Most male test subjects are old and broke. A young, healthy male, even a useless one abandoned by his mistress, is a rare find for a lab. They won't let him go. "System, open the door," Xiaoxi says, rushing into the lab. The receptionist watches her pass through and immediately sounds the alarm. "Warning! A black-faced female has broken into the lab. Stop her immediately. You can use force if necessary." Xiaoxi opens every door, looking for Xiao, but he's not there. Electronic guards surround her. "Ma'am, please leave in 3 minutes or we will use tranquilizers," a guard says, starting a countdown. Xiaoxi sits down, exhausted. "Can you locate Xiao?" she asks the system. "Sorry, host. The signal is only in this lab. I can't pinpoint his exact location." "Useless," she sighs. Just as she's about to give up and leave, the building shakes. The 2-story lab building collapses. A bloodied figure bursts out of the rubble. "Catch him! The operation can't stop." Master Beal is waiting for his heart. A guard yells as a group of electronic guards rush towards the figure. Xiao transforms into a wolf, biting off the head of the guard closest to him. Soon, a pile of guard parts surrounds him. But he's not doing well either. The anesthetic from the surgery and the wound on his chest make him dizzy. He sees the malicious mistress and hears her panicked voice. "Xiao, watch out!" Xiao dodges a leopard bodyguard's attack and quickly stabs his claws into the leopard, killing it instantly. Ignoring the blood on his chest, he walks calmly toward the female, grabs her collar, and takes her to a mountain. Ye Xiaoxi was led into a cave. Inside, there was a stone bed covered with a tiger skin, as if someone lived there. Just as she was about to say something, the stone door at the entrance slammed shut. The gray wolf, Xiao, was already lying weakly on the ground, his cold eyes fixed on Ye Xiaoqi. "This is the burial cave I specially chose for us. Are you satisfied, my owner? Why do you have to drag me along?" Ye Xiaoqi cursed silently, but spoke with great concern. "Xiao, let me take you to the hospital. If you don't treat that wound, you're really going to die." The gray wolf looked wronged. "Don't you want me to die?" "Who said that? Out of all 5 of my beast husbands, I like you the most. You're capable and strong. I'm here to take you home today." Ye Xiaoqi bravely moved closer. She saw a flicker of light in his eyes, but he quickly lowered his head and closed them, as if he had fainted. "Xiao, are you still alive?" Ye Xiaoqi poked his head with her finger and then rubbed it hard, but he still didn't react. The cave grew colder and colder. Ye Xiaoqi curled up in the gray wolf's arms and fell asleep. The gray wolf opened his eyes and looked at her. "Doesn't my owner hate it when we show our beast forms? Why is he willing to be so close to me?" He lowered his head and sniffed her neck. The overpowering perfume was gone, replaced by a light, fresh scent. He felt the blood flowing from his chest and moved away, afraid of soiling his owner's clothes. But Ye Xiaoqi found her way back into his arms, snuggling up to his fur and mumbling, "Good boy, my big doggy." Xiao had never heard her use such a gentle tone before. He was so excited that he transformed back to his original form and held her tightly. Xiao had a high fever, and his body was so hot it woke Ye Xiaoqi up. Quote, "Xiao, get up! We have to go to the hospital! Ye Xiaoxi pinched Xiao's face to wake him up. She just grabbed his hands and rubbed them against her face. Xiao felt that his owner was especially gentle today. He obediently opened the cave and followed her to the hospital. The external wounds on his chest were easy to treat, but many blood vessels around his heart were severed, and the remaining toxins in his body had attacked his nerves. The treatment was extremely expensive. Ye Xiaoxi nervously opened her wristband and saw that her 2 free songs had topped the charts, earning her over 500,000 credits overnight. But after paying the hospital fees, her balance was only 100 credits. Ye Xiaoxi sighed, surprised at how quickly money disappeared. After releasing her latest work, she went to the shelter to visit Ren. Just as she arrived at the door, 0788 followed her. For your safety, please report back before staying out past night. Ye Xiaoxi waved him off and fed Ren some nutrient solution. She then rushed to the hospital to take care of Xiao. At the hospital, Xiao had already had his surgery and his chest was bandaged. The toxins in his body had also been greatly reduced thanks to his power. At his recovery rate, he would be discharged soon. He looked at the ceiling in a daze, thinking he was dreaming. Would that vicious female really save me? Just then, a flashy pair of boxers covered his face. Ye Xiaoxi had bought them from a street vendor. Xiao looked at the cartoon dog on them and felt it ruined his tough image. But under Ye Xiaoxi's warning gaze, he obediently put them on. After these 2 incidents, Ye Xiaoxi realized she needed a bodyguard. Not only was the vicious snake beast husband Mo Ye a danger, but the little fox, Xingye, was also a mentally unstable pervert. If she went to them alone, she would probably be killed, so she had to appease the most honest one, Xiao. She looked at him with a pained expression, touching his chest. How do you feel? Does your wound still hurt? His chest muscles were firm and bouncy. Below them were his 8-pack abs. What about here? Are you hurt? Her cold little hands felt like a flame, making his skin burn. Xiao's face flushed. He awkwardly pulled the blanket over his chest. I'm all better. I can be discharged now. Ye Xiaoxi pressed on his shoulders, making him lie back down. The hospital fees have been paid for a week. Stay here for a few more days so I can feel at ease. Xiao was touched by her concern. He nodded repeatedly. I'll listen to my owner. Congratulations, host. Xiao's corruption level has dropped to 80%. Please continue to take advantage of him. Ye Xiaoxi giggled. It's so easy to trick my big doggy. She leaned against his chest. My big doggy is so obedient. Snuggles. Zhao's face was red, but he let Ye Xiaoxi have her way. For a whole week, Ye Xiaoxi stayed with Xiao at the hospital. Their relationship grew closer, and his corruption level continued to drop. By the end of the week, Xiao was hopping around, even healthier than before he was injured. During this time, Ye Xiaoxi reported to 0788 and asked him to feed Ren the nutrient solution every day. Although 0788 didn't understand the purpose of feeding a luggage bag, he accepted the request. Ye Xiaoxi released songs every day. After a week, she had accumulated 10 million credits in rewards. She had finally earned back the money the original owner had squandered. With the treatment fees, Ren was sent to the hospital for further treatment. This time, Ye Xiaoxi was prepared. With her loyal big doggy bodyguard, Xiao, and a balance of 10 million credits, she was ready to buy back Mo Ye. At the border between the inner and outer cities, a tavern with colorful lights was filled with males, all staring at the green bandana at the door. Ye Xiaoxi dodged their gazes and went to the bar. I want to go to the beast fighting arena, she said to the bartender. The bartender looked at Ye Xiaoxi and Xiao. Ma'am, do you want to watch or sell? Get lost! Xiao's expression instantly tensed. Is my owner going to sell me again? His corruption level rose by 10%. Ye Xiaoxi looked at him, confused, and turned back to the bartender. Can I redeem someone? I want to redeem a black snake. His name is Mo Ye. The beast slaves here don't have names, but there is a black snake. He has a match today. If he doesn't die on stage, you can bid on him. The original owner only got 500,000 credits from Mo Ye, and the entrance fee was 100,000. What a ripoff! Ye Xiaoxi gritted her teeth. She went through the back door and arrived at the arena. Ye Xiaoxi went to her seat and heard a female next to her complaining. That damn snake! Why is he so resilient? He's already won 30 matches. The blonde male behind her knelt and massaged her legs. Don't worry, owner. He's fighting Troy today, the undefeated legend, and the food he ate was spiked with the strongest drug. He's going to die a horrible death. Another purple-haired, enchanting male kissed the female's cheek. I've asked Troy to leave him one last breath. We'll have the body collectors bring him back. Then you can skin him or pull his tendons, whatever you want. The female, Jing Shenyi, laughed and clapped her hands. He didn't want to be my beast slave, did he? I'm going to make him kneel at my feet and beg for my affection. Ha ha ha! Xiao also laughed stupidly. So my owner isn't trying to sell me for fun. His corruption level dropped by 20%. Ye Xiaoxi frowned at Xiao's stupid face and sighed as she looked at the crowd of beast husbands behind Jing Xingyi. The beast husbands are so different in strength, and the system is useless. It seems Mo Ye is in a lot of trouble today. She didn't have time to think. A square metal cage rose from the center of the arena. The doors on both sides opened. A cold, black-robed male with a pair of different colored eyes walked out. The arena erupted in cheers. Black Snake! Black Snake! On the other side was a 2-meter-tall, muscular giant. Each step he took shook the ground, and the crowd cheered even more. Troy! Troy! The muscular bear had never been defeated since he came to the arena. Only a beast slave who had won many times, like Mo Ye, was worthy of challenging him. Ye Xiaoji was worried for Mo Ye. System. If Mo Ye dies, will my corruption level be cleared? Will I no longer have to work so hard to complete the mission? Host, villains don't die that easily. Please stop having such unrealistic dreams. Mo Ye's face was expressionless, his cold gaze casually sweeping over Troy, clearly not taking him seriously. Suddenly, his eyes pierced through the crowd and landed on Ye Xiaoxi like a sharp blade. Quote, that damn female. Is she here to watch me get beaten to death? Laughable. Once I take care of this piece of trash, I'll come for your dog life. Mo Ye couldn't wait any longer. He flew forward and punched Troy's shoulder. The impact was so great that Troy stumbled backward. The crowd jeered. Troy no longer underestimated him. He raised his hand, ready to snap Mo Ye's neck. Since they were both wearing ability-restricting collars, they could only fight with their bodies. They were evenly matched. The two males behind Ye Xiaoxi excitedly discussed the fight. The Black Snake is holding his own against Troy. He might even win this one. No way. Troy's strength is his endurance. Once the snake runs out of energy, Troy will snap him in half. Ye Xiaoxi nudged Xiao with her elbow. Do you think Mo Ye will win? Xiao's face was a little conflicted. My owner hates Mo Ye the most. If I say he'll win, will he get angry? He lied. I don't know. He was relieved when Ye Xiaoxi didn't notice. In the arena, Troy threw a few heavy punches at Mo Ye, making him stumble backward. Just as the audience thought the winner had been decided, Mo Ye sneered. He stretched out his fingers, aiming for Troy's chest. Just as the battle was about to turn around, Mo Ye's expression changed. His legs went weak, and his movements slowed down. Troy seized the opportunity, smiled maliciously, and threw a heavy punch at Mo Ye's face. He was instantly sent flying. Mo Ye spat out a mouthful of blood, and a burning pain shot through his abdomen. He knew he had been ambushed. Troy walked towards the fallen Mo Ye. You think you're so smart, boy. A disobedient toy has no reason to live. It's over. He raised his big foot, ready to stomp on him. Mo Ye rolled to the side, dodging the fatal blow, but the heat in his body was getting stronger, and his legs were too weak to stand. In the end, he was kicked away by Troy. Troy laughed and held the limp Mo Ye above his head. I was going to let you live, but you're out of luck. I'm in a bad mood today, so you're going to die. He raised his right knee, ready to snap him in half. Stop! I'll buy him! Stop! Don't hurt him! Ye Xiaoxi screamed, but her voice was drowned out by the angry shouts of the other spectators. A bad feeling flashed through her mind. The system said Mo Ye wouldn't die. He's about to turn evil. The next second, Mo Ye transformed into a 10-meter-long black python. He opened his mouth, ready to swallow Troy whole. When Troy saw him, he also transformed into a massive brown bear. With a roar, he was about to grab the serpent's body and tear off the ability-restricting collar on the python's neck. The collar was glowing red, and the continuous impact had already caused it to crack. Mo Ye seemed to deliberately not dodge the brown bear's attack, letting the bear's paw smash the collar. The audience on the field was completely unaware of the approaching danger, still watching the two beasts fight with passion. Xiao had already started to lead Ye Xiaoqi toward the exit. However, he found that the door's switch was malfunctioning. The arena's lights went out, and a purple mist began to spread. Everyone felt as if they were in a dark abyss, with countless snarling monsters rushing at them. Meanwhile, Ye Shaoxi found herself back in her previous life's home. There was a big table filled with delicious food. She picked up a roasted pig trotter and took a bite, but it was too hard and hurt her teeth. Then she grabbed a pickled chicken foot. The taste was strange, with a hint of blood. Mo Ye watched Shaoxi with cold eyes, then bit his own blood-stained finger. In the illusion, shouldn't this vicious female show her ugliest side? But she was just eating. The scene changed, and Ye Shaoxi was back in the original owner's villa. She saw Mo Ye hanging from the ceiling, his ability-restricting collar on his neck and 2 chains running through his shoulder blades. She frantically ran over to let him down. This is too cruel, she thought. Why did the original owner enjoy tormenting people so much? She tenderly touched a wound on Mo Ye's face. The cut ran from his brow to under his eye, with fresh blood still dripping from it. Mo Ye had fainted. Even though I didn't do this, I bet you'll blame me for it, she muttered. She found the first aid kit and carefully treated his wound, then unfastened the chains that pierced through him. The pity in her eyes made Mo Ye's hand, which was wrapped around her neck, loosen its grip. That female would never look at me like this, he thought. She would only show me the most intense malice and humiliate me without restraint. So, who is she? Mo Ye studied the person in front of him, retracting the hand that had been poised to snap her neck. The purple mist gradually faded. The arena was a mess. Troy's bare head was hanging from the top of the cage. The female from the next seat, and the heads of all her beast husbands, were rolling around on the ground. Mo Ye, suppressing the uncontrollable heat within his body, kicked Xiao, who was sleeping like a dead dog, and picked up Ye Shaoxi, leaving the arena. He placed her on the bank of a cold, icy pond, then transformed into his beast form and jumped into the water, trying to fight the surge of power inside him. Ye Shaoxi woke up shivering. She sat up and looked around. A fog was rising from the water's surface. Is it getting foggy? She wondered. Xiao, where are you? Let's go home, it's so cold here. Mo Ye heard the noise and surfaced with a splash, soaking Ye Shaoxi. She was angry but didn't dare to move. Whose snake is bigger than a person? A single bite would be enough to swallow her whole. Mo Ye silently watched her timid expression. He saw her thin coat clinging to her body, and beneath her dark face, her smooth skin and curves were alluring. Mo Ye transformed back to his human form, stepped out of the water, and walked towards her, each step bringing a bone-chilling cold. The sweet scent of the female in front of him made him want to get closer. What on earth did those bastards feed him? The sudden sense of danger made Ye Shaoxi flinch. Whatever you have to say, just say it out loud. You don't have to whisper in my ear. There's no one else here. Her plump pink lips moved, but Mo Ye didn't hear a word. He just wanted to consume her. Are you a dog? Why did you bite me? Ye Shaoxi pushed Mo Ye away, angrily covering her mouth. The soft sensation made Mo Ye want to bite her again. He forced himself to regain his sanity. His vertical pupils stared at Shaoxi. In a low voice, he asked, "Who are you?" Ye Shaoxi's eyes instantly filled with confusion, and she answered obediently, "I'm Ye Shaoxi." The same name, but is it the same person? Mo Ye leaned in to look closely at her eyes. Then tell me, who am I? You're Mo Ye, my most handsome beast husband. Seeing the love in her eyes, Mo Ye paused. She used to only call them lowly trash and would never show such affection. Has she gone mad? The thought sent a jolt through him. With a seductive voice, he asked, "Do you want to kill me?" Ye Shaoxi quickly shook her head. I like you so much, I can't even get enough of you. Why would I kill you? She hugged his neck and snuggled against him. Mo Ye's murderous aura dissipated. After a moment of silence, he turned and jumped back into the icy pond. As the ripples on the surface calmed, Ye Shaoxi's eyes instantly cleared. The system chirped excitedly. Host! Host! Now you can't say I'm useless, can you? You were about to expose yourself, but I broke the illusion in the nick of time and reminded you to increase his favorability. Now Mo Ye's corruption level has dropped by 10 points. He won't try to kill you anymore. Yeah, Shaoxi rolled her eyes. All right. Don't be so proud of yourself for doing something so small. Can't you be more level-headed like me? Just now, I delivered a performance worthy of Venus and even fooled Mo Ye. Host, that should be an Oscar. Ye Shaoxi cleared her throat. What do you know? The sound of splashing water was heard again. Mo Ye's face was a sickly pale, and his gaze towards Xiaoxi was full of loathing. Yi Xiaoxi looked around nervously. Where's Xiao? He was with us at the arena. Why are only you and I here? Had Xiao been captured again? Mo Ye squinted unhappily. You're worried about that idiot? To show her kindness and gentleness, Ye Xiaoqi nodded confidently. Of course. Xiao is my beast husband. I'm worried about him. Before she could say, you're all the same, Mo Yi interrupted her. Since you're so worried about him, then let him take you back. He then turned into a cloud of purple smoke and disappeared. With Mo Yi gone, this dark and eerie place became even more terrifying. The cold wind sounded like ghosts wailing, sending shivers down her spine. Yi Xiaoxi's voice trembled as she called out, Mo Ye, don't joke around, come out. The only answer was a pair of glowing green eyes in the dark night. A flock of black bats, the size of basketballs, flapped their wings and moved toward her. Ye Xiaoxi got goosebumps. She backed up to the edge of the icy pond, patting herself down but finding nothing to fight them with. Seeing the leading bats gnashing their fangs, about to fly over her head, she jumped into the cold pond. System, if you don't want to see my corpse, give me some oxygen! Host, you're a big girl now. Don't you want to rely on me for everything? It's bad enough I transmigrated as a useless person, but I also got a good-for-nothing system. I live my life with my head on the line every day. The bats hovered over the water, unwilling to leave. Ye Xiaoqi couldn't hold her breath for long. Her lungs were contorted. She was a second away from suffocating. She gave up struggling and opened her mouth. The next moment, cold lips sealed hers, and fresh oxygen flowed into her mouth. Mo Ye stared at the frail female in front of him. Her words echoed in his mind. Stop! I'll buy him! Stop! Don't hurt him! You're Mo Yi, my most handsome beast husband. I like you so much, I can't even get enough of you. Why would I kill you? Mo Ye carried the unconscious Ye Xiaoqi out of the pond. He looked at the bats, screaming and trying to scatter. You're asking for death, he said coldly. A light green mist instantly devoured the entire flock. When the mist cleared, only a pile of black bones remained on the ground. A moment later, Mo Ye appeared in front of Xiao. He was anxiously looking for Xiaoxi. When he saw Mo Ye, Xiao rushed forward, trying to grab the person in his arms. But Mo Ye kicked him away. Xiao quickly got up, frowning at Mo Ye. What did you do to her? She's not the same vicious female she used to be. Mo Ye raised an eyebrow at him. Didn't she sell you to a lab? You're a fool. You don't learn your lesson, do you? Xiaoxi didn't do it on purpose. She came to save me. She bought me clothes, stayed with me in the hospital, and even sang to me. After all the time they spent together, Xiao's corruption level had dropped to 20%, and he had become a loyal dog devoted to Xiaoxi. Mo Yi looked at the foolish wolf who could be bought with a piece of meat. An evil thought arose in his heart. He then threw Xiaoxi to Xiao. Fool, I'm waiting to see the look of despair on your face. A Weeman. Cloud of purple mist spread out, and Mo Yi disappeared. Xiao held Xiaoxi and watched the mist fade. Stupid snake. I also want to see the look of regret on your face. Ye Xiaoxi woke up on a small bed in the female shelter. To be with her, loyal dog Xiao even put on a wig and dressed as a female, somehow evading 788's security scan. Xiaoxi checked her wristband and saw her balance had accumulated to 20 million credits. It should be enough to redeem Xingye. If she could also buy back the house, she could live a life of luxury with her beast husbands. Before she could finish her daydream, an alarm sounded on her wristband. Due to a plagiarism report, your platform will remove all your works and freeze your personal account balance. Ye Xiaoxi shot up from the bed and opened the music platform. The screen was filled with messages from Anna Wilson's fans, cursing her. All her works have been blocked. Is the platform trying to steal my profits? She wondered angrily. She opened the Interstellar Federal Law Center and filed a complaint, accusing the music platform of fraud. The message was immediately forwarded to Anna Wilson. She was startled by the dark-faced photo and quickly looked away. Is this the one with the green bandana? She asked her housekeeper, displeased. She still refuses to sell her copyrights? Yes, princess. Not only did she reject the music company's acquisition request, but she also replied with a middle finger emoji. Anna was curious and scrolled through Xiaoxi's other information. She found that she was Karina's biological sister. Yes, princess, but she has been expelled from the family. She's homeless now, living in the female shelter. She even sold all her beast husbands. Anna Wilson had never seen a female so pathetic. She couldn't help but laugh and ordered, "Continue to freeze her account. Don't allow her to release any new work until she agrees to sell her copyright and becomes my exclusive artist, creating music for me." 3 days later, Ye Xiaoxi stared at her account, which hadn't changed. "I still need to redeem Xingye." Xiao ruffled his long wig. "Don't worry, I'll get a job when I have the strength." Xiaoxi worriedly hugged Xiao and caressed his body. The tense muscles reassured her. Xiao was powerless to stop her, and his ears turned red. He couldn't help but let out his fluffy tail. He quickly covered it, afraid that Xiaoxi would dislike his beast form. Xiaoxi's eyes lit up. She became more brazen, rubbing his fluffy fur. Xiao's face flushed, and he groaned, escaping into the bathroom. Listening to the running water, Xiaoxi sighed. As expected, the most honest kids never get what they want. While brainstorming ways to make money, she unenthusiastically scrolled through her wristband. She then saw a video of herself wearing the green headscarf and playing the piano. It was the #1 trending video on the platform. Xiaoxi immediately had an idea. Since she was wearing a headscarf, she didn't have to show her face, and the tips from the short videos wouldn't be frozen like her song royalties. She just regretted not buying some instruments when she had the money. She swallowed her pride and went to Elisa's shop. "Elisa, can I rent an instrument here?" "Who needs to rent an instrument? If it's you, I can just give you one," Elisa said with a look of sincerity. She had always felt inferior because she couldn't see, but whenever Xiaoxi came to the shop, her instruments gave her comfort and encouragement. Elisa's generosity made Xiaoxi even more ashamed. "It's for my friend. She wants to borrow a guitar and will buy it as soon as she makes some money." After playing a few songs with Elisa on the guitar she picked out, she recorded herself playing "Reflections of the Moon on the Erquan Spring" on the violin. She said her goodbyes to a reluctant Elisa and headed back to the shelter. Back at the shelter, Xiaoxi put on her green headscarf again. She wiped away a tear, then turned on her wristband's camera. "Hello everyone, I'm the green headscarf you've been looking for. My other identity is the music creator. Broke as a joke. All my works are my own, but because I refused to sell my copyright to a certain music company, I was framed and completely banned by the platform. They even cruelly froze my account, leaving me to live in a shelter on 1 nutrient solution a day. My beast husband was severely injured protecting citizens on the battlefield, and is now in the hospital, waiting for me to earn money for his treatment." To avoid getting her account targeted, Xiaoqi registered a new one using Xiao's identity and posted the video. In the video, her voice was soft and helpless, perfectly matching the sad atmosphere of "Reflections of the Moon on the Erquan Spring." She also attached screenshots of the music company's threats and the platform's arrogant removal notice. The video instantly triggered the male's desire to protect her and quickly went viral. After posting the video, Xiaoxi recorded a few new songs. This time, she applied for copyright protection with the official copyright center. She put the new songs in a showcase for just 100 credits, giving people permanent access. Sale notifications popped up like snowflakes. The head of the short video platform looked at the overnight surge in revenue and grinned. He only cared about money, and not even Princess Anna could stop him from making a profit. Angry military units, no longer soothed by the music, jointly filed a complaint against the music company's tyrannical actions and demanded a thorough investigation. All-knowing netizens dug up that the music company was owned by Princess Anna. Other music creators who had been suppressed also spoke out. Suddenly, Princess Anna's reputation was tarnished. She had no choice but to post a clarification video. She first distanced herself from the music company, then claimed that she also loved the songs by Broke as a joke. She mentioned that she had extended a formal invitation as a princess, but she had ignored her. Finally, she dropped a bombshell. Broke as a joke was actually the crazy daughter of the Wei Li family, Wei Mian, who had been locked in an attic since childhood. This exposed all of the original owner's past misdeeds. Anna also released interviews with the Wei Li family's servants. "Miss Xiaoxi has been mentally deficient since childhood. We've never heard of her having any musical talent. We heard she sold her beast husbands and squandered her family fortune because of her decadent lifestyle, which is why she ended up in the shelter." Even the head of the Wei Li family, Lady Iseria, released a video confirming that her daughter was a lying lunatic who stole and abused servants. She even threatened to disown her. As more and more trolls flooded the internet, there were countless posts condemning Ye Xiaoxi. Some even went to the shelter to cause trouble. If Xiao hadn't been there to protect her, she would have been attacked. Using the profits from the short videos, Ye Xiaoxi bought back the old house and moved back in with Xiao to launch a counterattack. She quickly went to a royally certified hospital to get a mental health test. Armed with a certificate of sanity, she live-streamed in front of the royal castle. With Xiao's powerful presence, Ye Xiaoxi, wearing her trademark green headscarf, spoke with fierce determination. I, Ye Xiaoxi, am a righteous person. I will pursue legal action against the Wei Li family for their slander and defamation. My mother disliked me because I was born with a strange illness, which is why I was locked in an attic and fed cheap nutrient solution. The only one who kept me company was a cold robot butler. I don't have a beautiful appearance or a healthy body. I'm sorry to have disgraced my mother. She continued. I often wondered why my hair color was different from my parents, and even suspected that I was a child born from my father, Count Wei Li, and another female. That's why my mother didn't love me. If my father betrayed his partner, he should be put on trial. Ye Xiaoxi covered her face and cried, looking so helpless that even the haters in the livestream felt too ashamed to keep insulting her. The neutral onlookers also started to change their minds. She quickly pressed her advantage. All my mistakes are my own, but I have never plagiarized. I can create a new song every day, and I can even improvise the next one, which I dedicate to my mother. Whether you are my biological mother or not, I thank you for giving me a cage in the attic and raising me with cheap nutrient solution. Then, she started playing the guitar and singing, Mom is the best in the world. Thinking of her own mother from her past life, tears streamed down her face and her voice cracked, evoking a wave of sympathy from the audience. That's so pathetic. Even cruel beasts don't treat their young like this. Don't be scared, son. Mom supports you all the way. A crowd gathered near the castle. They saw Xiaoxi in her cheap clothes, shivering in the cold. She was not at all the extravagant person they heard about online. They came forward to comfort her. Even the master of creation, Pierre, vouched for Xiaoxi. He said that no one in the star system had the talent to create music that surpassed Miss Ye Xiaoxi's. Everyone who sees my comment, please ask Miss Ye Xiaoxi if she's willing to be my creative partner. I have so many ideas I want to discuss with her. If even Master Pierre treated her with such respect, there was no longer any room for doubt. The deceived netizens turned their focus to the Wei Li family. Meanwhile, the instigator, Princess Anna, discreetly went into hiding, even inviting Ye Xiaoxi to her coming-of-age ceremony. All this commotion even reached the Queen, Cavil. She ordered the Royal Ministry of Justice to investigate the music platform, and then summoned Ye Xiaoxi. The Queen showed no contempt for her pathetic appearance. Instead, she reprimanded the Wei Li family. Every female in this empire is a treasure and should be treated with kindness. She motioned for her to sit next to her. Ye Xiaoxi immediately ran over and clung to her leg. She looked at the Queen with starry-eyed admiration. Are you the most noble, most heroic, and most beautiful queen in the entire star system? As soon as I saw you, the lights around me seemed to dim. It must be because your beauty is so radiant. The Queen was usually stern and decisive, and few people dared to flatter her. Hearing such direct praise, she was momentarily stunned. Karina, seeing the Queen's serious expression, thought she was angry. After all, the Queen hated sycophants. Ye Xiaoxi, how disgusting. If you're not well, don't come out here to embarrass yourself. If you anger the Queen, even 10 lives won't be enough to pay for it. Ye Xiaoxi immediately dropped to the floor, pretending to be scared. I'm sorry, Your Majesty. I didn't know that sincerely praising you was a disgusting act. I'm sorry, my sister. I won't ever do it again. Ye Xiaoxi then discreetly rolled up her sleeve, revealing a network of old scars. These were marks of the abuse the original owner had endured since childhood. The Queen's brow furrowed, and a flicker of pity crossed her eyes. She couldn't believe that in an empire with such comprehensive laws, someone would dare to abuse a female like this. She summoned a doctor to examine Ye Xiaoqi. The result was a body covered in old scars, severe malnutrition, a large amount of toxins, and a deformed mental power star. A normal female star was at least the size of a ping pong ball, but Ye Xiaoqi's was only the size of a grain of rice, emitting a faint glow as if it could go out at any moment. She would likely only live for 100 years at most. The Queen had never seen such a tragic female. Her brow furrowed even deeper. She opened the genetic report and confirmed that Xiaoxi was indeed the biological daughter of Isaria and Duke Wei Li. She threw the report at Wei Li's face. Ye Xiaoxi suppressed a smile and put on a tearful, wronged expression. Your Majesty, it's not my parents' fault for hitting me since I was a child. They must have done it for my own good. After all, they are the ones who gave birth to me and raised me. I also don't blame them for not giving me any money and kicking me out after I got a husband. They must have been trying to strengthen my survival skills. What? The queen picked up her scepter and slammed it on the ground. Duke Wei Li, who was kneeling, quickly bowed his head. Just as he was racking his brain for an excuse, the heavy doors of the living room opened, and a few young masters and ladies walked in. At the front was Princess Anna Wilson. Mother, I heard you summoned Miss Ye Xiaoxi. I've come to see her and learn some musical skills from her, Anna said sweetly, running to the queen's side and pushing aside Ye Xiaoxi's mother. Why don't you let Xiaoxi come live in the palace with me? We can go to the academy together. Someone as talented as Xiaoxi will surely shine at the academy. The queen looked at Ye Xiaoqi. Xiaoqi, you are the same age as Anna. It's time for you to study at the academy. Do you want to continue your studies at the Imperial Music Academy? Ye Xiaoqi did not want to go back to school to be humiliated again. Besides, it was Anna Wilson's territory. She didn't know how she would die if she went. If you're willing, all your tuition fees will be waived. You'll also receive a monthly allowance of 1 million credits. I'll also give you a mansion. As for the Wei Li family, since they failed to provide a dowry for their daughter according to our rules, I'll have them give you 1 billion credits as a marriage settlement. How does that sound? How much? Yeah, Xiaoxi rubbed her ears, afraid she had misheard. She quickly took out her wristband and opened her QR code. She had to get the money now, right under the queen's nose, in case the old duke backed out. Father, just scan this. Duke Wei Li's eyelid twitched. 1 billion. That was 10% of their family's assets. He didn't want to give it to this bastard, but under the queen's stern gaze, he had no choice but to transfer the money. Ye Xiaoqi looked at the long string of zeros in her account and beamed. She bowed sincerely to the queen. Thank you, Your Majesty. I wish you eternal youth and immortality. The queen couldn't help but laugh. She then ordered Ye Xiaoxi's personal information to be added to the castle's security system and gave her a royal emblem, allowing her free access to the castle. If you are ever bullied again, come find me. Since your parents don't care about you, I will stand up for you. Finally, under the queen's expectant gaze, Ye Xiaoqi agreed to study at the Imperial Music Academy for 1 year and to attend Princess Anna Wilson's 20th birthday ceremony a week later. Anna Wilson looked her up and down. She thought about how she was only 100 years old and had a short lifespan, while she had 1,000 years to live. Her jealousy immediately faded. From now on, she would just treat her as a tool for her creations. After all, her idol, the old fool Pierre, had acknowledged her, and she had spent so much time and effort trying to be his student only to be rejected. Anna's eyes filled with rage again. This ugly thing, what right does she have to be so happy? Her fiancé, Frey, immediately jumped out and accused Ye Xiaoxi. Ugly thing, don't be so ungrateful. You should be kneeling and thanking the beast god for the grace of being able to stand next to Princess Anna. Ye Xiaoqi circled him, her eyes lingering on a certain area. She then shook her head in disappointment and leaned closer to Princess Anna. Princess, you might not know this, but the bigger and taller a male's nose is, the stronger he is in bed. Your fiancé's nose is so narrow and thin, I'm afraid he might hurt you. You ugly freak, what are you talking about? Frey was so angry that his green fur stood on end. He clenched his fists, ready to punch someone. Anna Wilson looked stunned. Seeing how agitated Frey was and how confident and experienced Ye Xiaoxi looked, she almost believed her. No one could tell that Ye Xiaoxi was a total novice who had never even been with anyone. She dropped a bombshell and walked away. Standing behind her, Chao touched his nose and whispered to Xiaoxi, "Although my nose isn't big, I used to be the highest and farthest in my clan, and my 4S is the biggest. You can rest assured." Xiaoxi rolled her eyes at him. It's one thing for Frey to get so worked up. Why are you showing off? After leaving the palace, Xiaoxi moved into the mansion the queen had given her. The butler was a bald, fat bear with a gray mustache. The other servants were also old males who had been discharged from the battlefield with injuries. They had lost their families and were now living out their retirement in the mansion, doing easy work under the queen's care. They all looked at their new owner anxiously, afraid of being kicked out. Xiaoxi looked at the vibrant garden. The area behind the house was neatly planted with various fruit trees, and the central plot had been turned into a vegetable garden with all kinds of vegetables. She thanked the old men with satisfaction. Now I'll have an endless supply of natural food, and won't have to fill my stomach with nutrient solution anymore. She also asked them to raise some animal cubs and released many fish fry into the lake. After giving all her instructions, she went to explore the 6-story villa. The first floor was a dining room, living room, kitchen, and utility rooms. The 2nd to 6th floors were all suites with a large customizable space where she could run around. Ye Xiaoxi sat in the virtual reality cabin in the study. Her vision went black and then bright, and she found herself in a place that looked like a plaza. A giant advertisement screen was playing the official video that had cleared her name. Below it were comments from fans asking for new songs. She couldn't help but smile. Not far away, at the entrance of a high-end store, a masked, androgynous young male was staring at Xiaoxi, his eyes filled with disgust and confusion. To ensure online safety, you can't change your appearance, but you can buy props to decorate your virtual image. Xiaoxi didn't know this and just strolled around in a simple t-shirt and jeans. After buying a bunch of comfortable and pretty dresses for herself, she remembered Zhao's cheap shorts that he washed and dried every night. She generously walked into a high-end men's clothing store. The sales associate who greeted her was a gentle, blue-haired male who patiently explained the materials and fabrics of each item, helping her try them on a male model. Xiaoxi looked at over a dozen outfits and was satisfied with all of them. She thought Xiao would look much more handsome in them than the male model. Just as she was debating whether to buy all of them, a mocking laugh made her turn her head. Another sales associate with brown hair said snidely, "Roy, I told you not to let any bumpkin in here. Now these expensive clothes are stained with ugliness and poverty." The brown-haired associate held his nose and stood far away from Xiaoqi. A poor person who can't even afford virtual props dares to pretend to be a big shot in our store? I'm going to humiliate her today. The middle-aged female being served by him also glanced at Xiaoqi and frowned. "Why don't you have an asset scanner in this store? You let any kind of scum in?" It completely lowered the store's standard. Yeah, Xiaoxi didn't want to cause trouble, but these two idiots were in her face, so she had no reason to endure them. She showed her balance to the middle-aged male with disdain. "Didn't you want to verify my assets? Take out your account and let's compare. Let me see how much money you have." The middle-aged male's face turned green when he saw Ye Xiaoxi's 110,000 star coins. The brown-haired sales associate who was registering the bill also trembled uncontrollably. The two of them were silent as chickens and looked very busy. Ye Xiaoxi suppressed the smirk on her face and pointed at the dozen or so outfits, looking at the brown-haired sales associate. "Wrap all of these up." After saying that, she sat on the sofa to drink tea and wait. She saw 3 middle-aged males surrounding a male dressed in red enter. The curly-haired male at the head waved at the salesperson. "Bring out all of your latest seasonal clothes." The brown-haired sales associate rushed to attend to them. The male in red wore a mask and stood stiffly, like an emotionless tool that could be manipulated. His eyes fixed on Ye Xiaoxi without a trace, and then he looked at the clothes she had bought. His heart was full of doubts. This clothing was not the right size for Grace, the ugly male who always pursues him. Who did she buy it for? Ye Xiaoxi had already paid but didn't leave. She was enjoying the show. 3 rich females were almost fighting to please a gigolo. "Aptness, you would look so handsome in this black suit." "No, no. With this white one, his noble and elegant prince-like temperament can be seen. Clearly this pink one suits Baptness best, he is so sweet." The 3 females had their own aesthetic, and they wanted the male in the middle to recognize their taste. The eyes of the male with the mask flashed with impatience. With just a few words, he made the 3 females ecstatic and bought all the clothes that he liked. "Aptness, can I take you home tonight?" The chubby male with gray hair blushed and looked at him with anticipation. The other 2 females also looked at him, waiting for his response. The masked male looked at Ye Xiaoxi, who was watching the show. "Are you mocking me?" With an evil smile, he refused the rich females. "I'm sorry, I only sell myself as an artist. I don't sell myself sexually. After all, I have an owner. If I were to have an affair with another male, I could be sent to the supervision center to be jailed. You don't have to worry about that at all. I have a neutered male who works at the matchmaking system. I'll have him directly cancel your partner contract, and you will be free." "That's right, Aptness. I also have a neutered male who works at the supervision center. Even if you made a mistake, I have connections to get you out. Your wretched owner sold you to a brothel, and she still doesn't want to terminate the contract. It's so shameless." Aptness's eyes filled with a reddish veil of gratitude, and with a glance, he dazzled the females. "Thank you all. When the contract is canceled, I will reward you all." No wonder the original owner sold the neutered male. It turns out everyone sells them. Ye Xiaoxi couldn't help but sneeze several times. What a mess, there are dirty things here. She looked around in fear and then disconnected at the speed of light. Xiao, who was helping the grandpas build a cattle pen, received the message and ran over smiling. Upon seeing the wood chips and sweat on Xiao, Yi Xiaoxi pushed him into the bathroom with disgust. I bought you new clothes, go wash up and try them on. Until she heard the sound of water, Yi Xiaoxi accidentally looked over and realized that the glass door was completely transparent. She quickly turned her head, and 2 lines of blood flowed from her nose. Xiaoxi, why is your nose bleeding? Xiao took off the towel on his waist with worry and wiped the blood from her nose. Xiaoxi shyly covered her face and then peeked through her fingers. She saw that Xiao was still wearing those faded shorts. She dropped her hands speechlessly. You can't wear those shorts again in the future. Xiao scratched his head without understanding. Why, Xiaoxi? These are the first clothes you ever bought me. Because I bought you new clothes. Ye Xiaoxi grabbed a white shirt and put it on Xiao. While fixing the wrinkles, she touched Xiao's back. Before her hand could slip down, Xiao's legs tensed. He blushed and took a small step back. I'll put on my pants myself. Then, he hugged a pile of clothes and ran into the walk-in closet. Ye Xiaoxi tried on her new clothes, most of which were fine, except for a bra that might have been the wrong size. The hook on the back broke because it was too tight. She couldn't help but scream. Hearing the sound, Xiao rushed out and saw a piece of fresh and beautiful flesh exposed in front of him. The emergency situation that had just calmed down became even more urgent. He couldn't help but stretch out his hot hand and gently pull the hook. It was the first time the devoted puppy had a chance to eat meat. However, his owner was clumsy and couldn't open the package. Anxious, he stretched out his claws to help, but unexpectedly, he was directly packed up and taken to a nightclub. Just as Aoqi was about to receive a little sweetness from Xiao, the system ruined the situation at the critical moment. Warning, Xingye's villainy is on the verge of collapse. Please, host, stop him as soon as possible. System, you've shown up at a great time. Xiaoxi rolled her eyes in dissatisfaction, hit the brakes, put on her clothes, and went to the club with Xiao in a private aircraft. A private auction was being held here, but people without invitations were prohibited from entering. Xiaoxi set her eyes on a chubby male who was carrying an invitation. Seeing that more than 10 males of different shapes were following him, she quickly dragged Xiao to hide at the end of the group. Most of the guests in the club had already sat down. Xiaoqi chose an inconspicuous seat in the back. Xiao sat next to her with a slight sense of grievance on his face. Perhaps his performance was not good enough, so his owner came here to seek fun? As the platform slowly rose, the first item of the auction appeared in the center of the stage. A tall, sturdy, dark-skinned male sat in a cage with only a bow on his intimate parts. Just after the auctioneer finished introducing him, a female became impatient and pressed the button on the sofa mirror. Finally, a black female bought him for 500,000 star coins. She then took him to one of the private rooms surrounding the event hall. She configured the private room to be open, and everyone in the venue could see the scene through the transparent glass window. Seeing Xiaoxi's shocked face, Xiao quickly covered her eyes and opened the panels on both sides of the sofa. The second auction item was a pale male with a handsome face, and he only wore a transparent veil. He was finally sold for 800,000 star coins. It wasn't until the 9th handsome male was auctioned for 10 million star coins that Xingye didn't appear. Ye Xiaoxi was getting a little anxious. System, are you sure the person is here? The auction is almost over. The system ignored Ye Xiaoxi and just threw an electronic fart at her. The lights on the stage suddenly dimmed, and the auctioneer's excited voice sounded, "Next is our main auction item." In the golden cage on the platform, a male was sitting with chains all over his body. His dark red hair looked like burning flames, and the pain in his eyes could not be hidden by the mask on his face. The auctioneer looked at Aptness with satisfaction, the male in the cage. His beast form is a 3-tailed firefox. Although 2 of his tails were broken, there's no problem. His appearance is excellent. The auctioneer's voice became more and more lewd. Don't worry, guests, he will not escape. We have injected him with an ability-blocking agent and a new aphrodisiac. If you buy him, he will be completely in your hands. Let's reveal his mysterious mask and start the bidding. With the mask broken, Xiaoxi realized that the main auction item was her own neutered male, Xingye. Amidst the exclamations of amazement, the auction price quickly rose. It soon reached 50 million. Ye Xiaoxi clicked her tongue in anger. The original owner sold him for 1 million. So why does she have to spend dozens of times that amount to buy him back? I offer 100 million. A mocking voice sounded, and the place was silent for a few seconds. Yi Shaoxi's heart ached so much that it was hard to breathe. Friend, can I not buy him? Of course you can. When he goes crazy, he will kill you too. And then I'll burn the star coins for you. 101 star coins. Shaoxi entered her bid, and then she glared at the white-haired male with the bid viciously. If you are smart, don't raise the bid, kid. The long, white-haired male looked in her direction. With disdain, he raised the price to 150 million. Yi Shaoxi laughed. This wretched homosexual is so rich. She gritted her teeth and added one more star coin. Wretched white hair, you don't even know how to haggle. Can't you raise the price little by little? Isn't 50 million like 50 cents? The white-haired male looked directly at Yi Shaoxi, gave her a provocative look, and raised the price to 200 million. Yi Shaoxi fought with him and raised the price to 500 million and one star coin. The white-haired male became furious, went up to the stage, took the auctioneer's microphone, and tapped it twice. Guests, if I auction off this beast slave today, I will give him away for free for everyone to play with. Everyone gets a share. As soon as this was said, the venue erupted in a clamor, and whispers sounded continuously. Xingye in the cage also raised his head and looked at the white-haired male in front of him with hatred. Byron, you are a bastard! His voice was filled with suppressed pain. Flames rose behind him, and then they extinguished in an instant. Warning, Xingye is about to go crazy. Host, please save yourself. Yi Shaoxi's hand trembled, and she accidentally pressed the special button on the sofa. In an instant, she was enveloped in a red light and became the center of attention. This guest has lit the sky lantern. The auctioneer's voice trembled. In his decades-long career, it was the first time he had seen someone light the sky lantern for a male. Beiren glared at Yi Shaoxi viciously. I don't believe she has the strength to light the sky lantern. I want to verify her assets. Yi Shaoxi regretted it, and she wanted to admit that she had pressed the button by mistake, but the eyes of the wretched white-haired man looked at her as if she were trash. I can die, but I will not be humiliated. I'll fight you! He glared viciously at Byron. Since you want to steal someone from me, you should start praying now that you have more star coins than I do in your personal account. After saying that, she took off her bracelet and threw it at the auctioneer on the stage. This lady has a lot of money. 10 billion. Bid as much as you want. But in her heart, she was screaming like a madman. Please don't be 10 billion because I actually have it. Byron also threw his bracelet onto the auction stage, and with a smile, he pressed the bid button. 600 million, 700 million, 800 million. The red light around Yi Shaoxi was still bright. 900 million. Baron's finger that was about to press the button stopped. If he added 100 million more, it would be all the star coins he had brought this time. If he lost, where would he put the face of the young master of the Hu clan? He gritted his teeth and pressed the button again. 10 billion. Upon seeing the red light on Yi Shaoqi's seat still bright, Baron was speechless. This wretched male is so rich. Who the hell is she? Yi Shaoqi was on the verge of tears. Wretched white hair, please raise the price. I'll stop bidding. Baron stopped bidding, and the place was silent for several seconds before the auctioneer reacted. Congratulations, guest! You have won the main auction item, aptness. Xingye, who had planned to self-destruct to take everyone to hell with him, calmed down at this moment and looked at the male who had auctioned him off. He immediately recognized her as his ugly and wicked owner. Where did she get so many star coins? And why did she spend so much money to buy me? When she sold me, it was only for 1 million. It's better to be bought by her than to be humiliated and tortured by Byron. Xingye's villainy level dropped quietly. He hid the doubts in his heart and let Yi Shaoxi open the cage. Yi Shaoxi put Xiao's jacket on him. I spent so much money, so I have to put on a good act. When she passed by Byron, she sneered. I almost took you for a person. I thought you had more strength, but only 100 million. I seem to have overestimated you. Byron was so furious that he wanted to pounce on her, but he was stopped by Xiao, who was standing on the side. Seeing Xingye with a face of pain, Byron scoffed. You spend 100 million to buy a useless person with 2 broken tails. I don't think you know that he can only live about 100 years. And he will also age faster than normal males because of his broken tails. Just wait until in a few years he becomes an old male with wrinkles. Even if he becomes like that, I will consider him a treasure. Ye Xiaoxi gently wiped the sweat from Xingye's face, and then looked at Bayron with disdain. And you will be a worthless piece of trash for your entire life. Byron was so furious that his face began to distort. The purpose of humiliating Xingye today was not achieved, and he was being humiliated from all sides. He was afraid of offending someone, and in the end, he could only leave with a harsh word. At the auction, Xingye's reason, which had clung to life, collapsed at this moment. Due to the effects of the drug, his body stuck to Xiaoxi uncontrollably. His hot breath sprayed on her neck and gave her goosebumps. Xiaoxi didn't have the hobby of being watched. She looked at Xiao, who had been silent all along, and asked him to help carry Xingye to the aircraft. Let's go to the hospital. Let him detoxify first. Xingye's lips were already cut, but he took Xiaoqi's hand. A weak, fragmented voice came out of his throat, uncontrollably. This is the newest hunting drug. Hospitals can't detoxify it. Seeing that Ye Xiaoxi was frowning, Xingye had tears in his eyes. Don't worry, my owner. I can hold on. If I can't, I'll die. Seeing Xingye's sincere look, Xiaoqi sneered in her heart. If I didn't know his villainy level is 80%, I would think Xingye really likes me. She doesn't like me and yet wants me to think about her, she said to herself. Not even if Xingye is very handsome. It had to be someone like Xiao who was all heart. She nodded at Xingye. Then, hold it in yourself. After saying that, she turned around and threw herself into Xiao's arms, only to realize that her good dog had been depressed since he saw Xingye. Xiao hugged her with joy. He thought that his owner, now that he had that stinky fox, would no longer be so good to him. After all, before, he was her favorite among the few unlucky males, and he was the one who got hit the least. He didn't expect that his owner still liked him. You like the stinky fox, right? Congratulations, host. Xiao's villainy level has been eliminated. Reward: 20% of the toxins in your body are eliminated. 20% of your skin will return to normal. The other 80% will remain black. Isn't that even more uneven and ugly? She complained. Quote, system, you're too stingy. Why didn't you eliminate all the toxins if you eliminated the villainy level? Host, only if the villainy level of all the villains is completely eliminated can the toxins be completely eliminated. You can also choose a temporary effect, which is the complete elimination of toxins for 20% of the time. Ye Xiaoxi finally chose the time effect. 4 hours a day being normal is also pretty good. When they returned to the mansion, it was already midnight. Xingye was thrown into an empty room to take a cold water bath. After Ye Xiaoxi took a shower, she tested the detoxification effect. Her yellowish hair instantly turned into a smooth and silky hair, and her skin was so soft that water could be pinched from it. She complained to the system with dissatisfaction. I thought I would turn into a great beauty. Isn't this exactly what I looked like in my previous life? Host, if you want a different face, I can also help you create one. Thinking of the horrible appearance of the system, Xiaoxi seriously suspected the system's aesthetic. She quickly shook her head. Forget it. I look good like this. Back in the room, Xiao was already lying obediently, pretending to be asleep. Ye Xiaoxi got into his arms and pinched his eyelid. Xiao, I put on makeup. Do I look good? Xiao opened his eyes and saw a beautiful male smiling, slyly. Her eyes, which sparkled like stars, looked at him. Is that you, Xiaoxi? It's me. Ye Xiaoxi touched his head and asked, do you want me to touch your ears? Zhao's whole body began to heat up, and he closed his eyes tightly, his body trembling slightly. His ears and tail came out at the same time. Ye Xiaoxi happily caressed his ears with one hand and his tail with the other. She saw the big male of 1.90 meters tall, now as a cute and shy puppy. Her small hand strayed from the course and caressed Xiao's back. Xiao gradually began to sweat finely on his forehead, and his breath was all a scorching heat. His tail quietly moved to cover his abdomen. Xiao, are you uncomfortable? Ye Xiaoxi felt something, and her lips touched Xiao's lips. Oh, the devoted puppy has finally tasted the meat he had been waiting for. She didn't know how much time had passed before Ye Xiaoxi tiredly opened her eyes. Her face had returned to a color like the bottom of a pot. Xiao stood beside her with his arms on the floor and looked at her. Upon seeing her wake up, he quickly kissed her black mouth. Good morning, Xiaoxi. Ye Xiaoqi knew how black she looked now without looking in the mirror. How can Xiao kiss me like this? She vaguely remembered that she had fainted at the climax. So that's what it felt like. She opened the door of the room feeling fresh and saw Xingye standing outside the door. He had big dark circles under his eyes, and there were horrible and bleeding wounds on his arms. His voice was hoarse as he greeted Xiaoxi. "Good morning, my owner." Seeing Xingye about to die, Ye Xiaoqi asked casually, "Have you detoxified?" Xingye's eyes were full of love and gratitude. "Thank you for your concern, my owner. With enough bleeding, I am much better." "That's good. From now on, consider this place your home. If you need anything, look for Xiao." After saying that, she passed him and strode away. Xingye looked at Ye Xiaoxi, whose personality had completely changed, and at the luxurious mansion. He didn't have time to think about it, and he felt an ambiguous atmosphere filling the room. His sharp gaze fell on Xiao Xianzu's face. This fool was not the favorite before, so why can he eat meat now? After a little thought, Xingye showed Xiao a friendly smile. "Hello, Xiao." "Hello, long time no see." After yesterday's night of passion, Xiao felt that he had to take responsibility as the first neutered male and help his owner discipline the others who didn't obey. So when he passed by Xingye, he gave him a warning look. "Xiaoqi spent all her savings to rescue you, so don't let her find out that you have other ideas." Xingye hid his smile, leaned weakly on the wall, and looked at Xiao's back with a thoughtful gesture. Today was Xiaoxi's first day at the Royal Academy of Music. He was assigned to the Advanced Spiritual Arts class, a class that only the most outstanding males could enter. The instructor, Lola, frowned upon seeing the dark-skinned male and asked him with patience, "Are you Ye Xiaoxi? How many stars of spiritual energy level do you have? What instruments do you play?" Feeling the contempt in the instructor's attitude, Ye Xiaoxi answered lazily, "I know a little bit of everything." Lola was surprised by his brazenness, to say such grand things with such confidence. Then he asked the mechanical assistant to bring all the instruments into the classroom. "Didn't you say you knew a little bit of everything? Then play a different piece on each instrument. I want to see how good you are." Lola's mouth muscle twitched. He wanted this clown to pay for his arrogance. "If you can't play, I will personally write to Her Majesty the Queen and tell her that I cannot teach a lying and rude student like you." Ye Xiaoxi frowned upon hearing Lola's shrill voice. "Your name is Lola, right? So, if I can play everything, does that mean that you, as an unethical instructor, are not fit to teach me?" "Shameless!" Lola hit the desk hard. "How dare you speak to your instructor like that? Do you know what respect for the teacher and the way means?" Ye Xiaoxi also hit the drum next to her hard. "Shameless! What does respect for the teacher and the way have to do with you? If you don't have a mirror at home, at least you have urine, right? You don't know what you're really like." Lola became furious and turned on the live broadcast function of his bracelet. "Very well, if you don't play all these instruments today, get out of the Royal Academy of Music." Lola used to livestream his classes and had the image of a kind and affectionate teacher. He had several million followers, and soon the broadcast room was filled with people. He used a secondary account to explain the theme of today's broadcast and hoped that his followers would join him in embarrassing Ye Xiaoxi. What? Teacher Lola, the main instructor of the Royal Academy of Music, is going to humiliate someone like that? Who is that arrogant person who dares to show off like that in front of him? Unexpectedly, many people who loved music recognized Ye Xiaoqi, and their voices of support soon surpassed those who said she was showing off. Wasn't I mistaken? It's Ye Xiaoqi, the black-faced musical genius who single-handedly brought down the music platform. The musical genius, the god of night. He hasn't uploaded a new song in several days. I didn't expect to find him on this small live broadcast. Lola felt a little relieved and urged him, "What are you waiting for? Start now." Ye Xiaoxi was not in a hurry and stretched. "If I can't play, I have to leave the Royal Academy of Music. So if I can play them all, Teacher Lola, shouldn't you also leave?" Lola didn't believe that Ye Xiaoqi could play them all. He thought he was pretending to make her give up the test. "Very well, if you can play them, not only will I leave the Royal Academy of Music, but I will also stop being a teacher forever. Is that okay?" Ye Xiaoxi nodded. "Teacher Lola, you are very generous. Then, I'll give you a song, Homecoming, to say goodbye." The melodious and clear sound of the saxophone slowly played. The melody of Homecoming told a story. Lola felt a little uncomfortable listening to the music. This ugly person really knows how to play. But it doesn't matter. Maybe he only knows how to play the saxophone. I'll share the copyright of the song Song of the Neurotic with you. Maybe you'll need it when you perform in the future. Ye Xiaoxi played the guitar and sang. Although the melody was a little strange, no one dared to say it wasn't a song. Lola heard the sarcasm in his words and clenched his fist. So what if he knows how to play 2 instruments? Here, all students know how to play at least 2. Then, Xiaoxi used the piano to accompany How to Read a Book, and the violin for Son, I'm Your Father. Then came the zither, the bamboo flute, and the drums. Finally, with an accordion, Ye Xiaoxi didn't sing a strange song, but instead played a classic piece, Katyusha. During the performance, Lola, who had been dumbfounded, forgot that he was still live streaming. The screen was filled with comments. As expected of the God of Night, I'll always be your dog, woof woof. Now that the God of Night has played every instrument, shouldn't that Lola guy leave? Lola angrily closed the live stream. His job not only had a good salary, but it also gave him a respectable status. Am I going to give up this position for some trash? Just as his face changed color, Anna Willis stood up with a smile to diffuse the situation. Xiaoxi, maybe you don't know, 'cause you're new. Teacher Lola is our lead music instructor at the academy. He has the highest qualification in music. If he leaves, I'm afraid no one will be able to take on the responsibility of being the first instructor. Your performance just now was like a presentation. Don't take this so seriously with him, okay? I'm glad we've officially become classmates. After saying that, she smiled playfully and tried to take Ye Xiaoxi's hand. Ye Xiaoxi dodged her and raised an eyebrow to look at Anna Will, whose smile was still on her face. Princess, I always thought you were an example of a female who distinguishes between right and wrong, but it turns out you're one who doesn't keep her word. Apologize. Xiaoxi, I'm just thinking about my classmates. This is a crucial period for training. If Teacher Lola leaves, I'm afraid everyone's learning will be delayed. Anna lowered her head sadly, as if Ye Xiaoxi's heartless words had wounded her heart. You ugly monster. Teacher Lola is teaching you a lesson, do you understand? Not only are you ungrateful, but you treat him like this. It was a big step for him to accept someone like you. Even we wanted to test you. Otherwise, how would we know if you're fit to be in the same class as us? You're a disgrace. Her Majesty the Queen only said it in passing, and you actually came here to humiliate yourself. Karina, who couldn't stand it anymore, raised the violin in her hand and threw it at Ye Xiaoxi. She did it on purpose with her spiritual energy. Although 4-star spiritual energy was not very offensive, it could seriously injure Ye Xiaoxi, who only had 1 star. Xiaoxi, system, say something. Host, don't worry, I'll make it painless for you. With this power, you won't die. In an instant, a pair of earthy yellow wings blocked Ye Xiaoxi. The violin shattered into pieces on the wings. The pieces bounced back and hit the males who had been accusing Ye Xiaoxi. Their delicate skin was cut by the pieces, and blood immediately spurted out. My face! Karina covered her bleeding face and screamed, You bastard, I'll kill you! Pierre retracted his wings and frowned at Karina. Who are you going to kill? Upon seeing Pierre, the few noble women who had previously been arrogant calmed down and respectfully greeted him. Pierre patted Ye Xiaoxi's shoulder, giving her silent support. Since you're afraid of my master, I have decided to be the new instructor for your class, taking Lola's place. As for Lola, I will make sure he keeps his promise. From now on, I don't want to see this woman in any musical field. Lola knelt in front of Pierre, his face pale. I'm sorry, Lord Pierre. Please forgive me. Pierre shook his head and pointed at Ye Xiaoxi. The person you should be asking for forgiveness is him. Lola gritted his teeth and bowed to Ye Xiaoxi. Miss Ye Xiaoxi, please forgive my offense. Ye Xiaoxi didn't soften. If she had lost today, even if she had broken her head, these people would not have given her an ounce of pity. Today, she took advantage of Pierre's power, but one day, it will become her own power. Host, are you going to show off even in front of me? Fool! Ye Xiaoxi ignored him and stared coldly at Lola's tearful eyes. Please, Teacher Lola, keep your promise. Go without a goodbye. Pierre smiled affectionately and announced the end of the class with a wave of his hand. Then he took Ye Xiao to his private office. This is a new piece that I composed. I feel that the piano cannot achieve the effect I want. Do you want to try playing it with an instrument you like? Ye Xiaoxi flipped through the score. It was a very powerful piece, perfect to be used as background music to cheer up troops on the battlefield. Quote, this type of inspiring music definitely has to be played with a military trumpet. Thinking that she hadn't seen a military trumpet among the more than 10 instruments before, Ye Xiaoxi simply drew the design of a charged trumpet on a piece of paper. This instrument is the most suitable for playing this kind of powerful music. Teacher, I'll go back today and find someone to make one for you. I'll bring it to you when it's ready. Upon leaving the academy, an aircraft was already waiting at the door. Xiao was sitting obediently inside, looking out with anticipation. Upon seeing Ye Xiaoxi, he ran out and hugged her with joy. Ye Xiaoxi leaned on Xiao's arms and set the destination to Elisa's music salon. Her family offered an instrument customization service. Elisa made a phone call, and soon a tall, young male entered the store. Elisa, the most beautiful and adorable in the world, you finally deigned to talk to your poor brother. The young male had long silver hair that fell over his shoulders, and his light blue eyes sparkled with a cynical smile. Upon seeing Ye Xiaoxi's appearance, his smile froze on his face. What are you doing here? If you dare to hurt Elisa, I will not forgive you, he said as he walked to Elisa's side and protected her. Elisa said urgently. Second brother, what are you doing? Xiaoqi is my best friend. Lena looked at Ye Xiaoqi suspiciously. Maybe you don't know me, but my brother Ren Jie, you definitely know him, so he's Ren's brother. Then Elisa is Ren's sister. It turns out they're from the same family. What same family? If it weren't for your brother, why would he have been injured? Ye Xiaoxi only knew the story development of Ren's injury, but she didn't expect there to be more to it. System, why don't you give me the whole story? Didn't Ren get injured on the battlefield? What does that have to do with me? Host, do you want to review Ren's memory? Don't ignore him just because he hasn't woken up. And don't blame me. Ye Xiaoxi was silent for a moment, and she recalled the fuzzy memories in the original owner's mind. It turns out that Grace and Ren were in the same Legion and team, and they had a superior to subordinate relationship. For Grace to climb up, the original owner put drugs in Ren's food, which caused him to be seriously injured on the battlefield. Afterwards, she spent all the military compensation money to buy things for Grace. The original owner was afraid that Ren would wake up and didn't allow his relatives to visit him, and she wanted him to die in the hospital because he didn't have money for treatment. If she hadn't inherited this body with such a dark heart, Ye Xiaoxi would have really wanted to kill the original owner. She hugged herself in pain, her face full of sadness. I'm so sorry. I was so sad about Ren's injury that I did something irrational. Elisa had also heard about her brother's incident, but since she had gone blind at that time, she was receiving treatment at the hospital. Later, she was forbidden from visiting him. However, with the time they spent together, Elisa believed her ears. Such clear music could not be played by an evil person. Ye Xiaoxi felt moved. Only when she became a place of attention did she realize how rare it is to have someone who believed her unconditionally. She looked directly into Leno's eyes with sincerity. Ren is receiving treatment at St. Peter's Hospital. The doctor said his condition is getting better and better, and if he continues the treatment at the hospital, there is a great possibility that he will wake up. You can visit him whenever you want. Leno felt that his previous attitude had been a bit exaggerated. He touched his nose in embarrassment and said with a stubborn voice, "It better be true what you're saying." After saying that, he left the instrument store for the hospital. Elisa lowered her head in embarrassment and apologized as she played with her index finger. "Xiaoxi, my second brother didn't attack you. He's just like that." "Don't worry, Elisa. It was me who did something terrible." "I didn't expect you to be Ren's sister." "So does that make you my sister?" With this new relationship, the interaction between Ye Xiaoqi and Elisa became more intimate. After a long time of conversation, Ye Xiaoqi finally left the instrument store, even though Elisa didn't want her to leave. Elisa would transmit the requirements for the custom instruments to Leno. They would be ready in 2 days. Ye Xiaoqi also bought a complete set of instruments in Elisa's store and forcefully paid all the money. Although she lost 100 million star coins at once, she earned millions of star coins daily on short video and music platforms. In time, she would not be short of money. When she returned to the mansion, it was already evening. Xiao hugged Ye Xiaoqi gently from behind and kissed her neck lovingly. Ye Xiaoqi teased him. "Don't you think I look ugly now?" Xiao covered Xiaoqi's mouth and told her the answer with actions. Then, the aircraft entered private mode. At the same time, Xingye was lying in the rooftop garden, looking at the sky. His tranquility ended the moment the aircraft landed. Although the sound insulation was good, the keen senses of the ability users could still clearly hear what was happening inside. The sound hit Xingye's ears again and again, making the tips of his ears blush. If it weren't for the capital he needed to turn his life around, he would not have come to seduce that evil male. Xingye wanted to leave immediately, but he realized that his body had been petrified and he couldn't move a single step. He realized that Xiao had used his ability on him. Is that wretched Xiao declaring his sovereignty over me? Only when the sound stopped did Xingye regain his freedom of movement. Upon seeing Xiao, who had already tidied up his clothes and carried Xiaoxi out of the aircraft, his eyes gleamed with fire. If it weren't for the fact that I'm afraid of hurting her, I would have burned your wolf fur right now. Xiaoyan smiled indifferently. Don't have impure thoughts about Xiaoxi, and don't use your tricks on her. Otherwise, you can see who has the stronger ability. Xingye's eyes flashed with resentment. If I hadn't lost two tails, how would this foolish wolf be suppressing me? Until dinner, Xingye still looked weak, with his head down and eating absent-mindedly. Yes, Xiaoxi thought of the white-haired male from the auction. He must have had some problem with Xingye to humiliate him in that way. Unfortunately, the original owner didn't care about these things, so she didn't understand either. However, the Hu clan was good at business and was the richest in the entire galaxy. Since she had someone so talented at her side, wouldn't it be a waste not to use him? The economic base determines the superstructure, and it also determines the attitude of others toward you. Xiaoxi didn't want to go through the same humiliation as today over and over again, because she wouldn't always have the same luck as she did today. If one day she reached a dead end, the only thing that could save her would be herself, so she had to plan ahead. In addition to money, she also needed to improve her strength. As long as she remained the owner of Xingye's contract, she wasn't afraid of him betraying her. With that in mind, she smiled and asked Xingye, "Are you willing to help me manage my music accounts? I can give you all the profits you earn. You can invest or do whatever you want with them, as long as you don't lose money." "Yes," Xingye replied without thinking. Even if she was messing with him again, he had to try. He needed an opportunity now. Xiaoxi soon gave Xingye the authorization. Looking at the more than 30 million star coins in the account and the music account that was like a money tree, he felt full of fighting spirit. He raised his eyebrows and showed a confident smile. Xiaoxi couldn't help but sigh. He's 1 year younger than the original owner. He's a kid who just came of age. We are both unfortunate, so why are we killing each other? Supporting each other is the way to victory. Xiao didn't say anything. He just secretly decided to watch Xingye, because that fox was very cunning. After returning to the room and taking a shower, Xiaoxi activated the detoxification state again. Xiao's ears came out uncontrollably. "Xiaoxi, did you put on foundation again?" He felt that without the seal, a single look from Xiaoxi could make him lose control. Quote, "This fool really thinks I just put on makeup." Xiaoxi laughed and kissed Xiao's furry ears. "Do you like it?" Xiao didn't say anything, but he told her very forcefully whether he liked it or not. In the next room, Xingye was focused on his investment plan. Suddenly, he heard a scream and was so scared that he almost deleted the plan he had just made. Uncontrollably, a pair of fiery red fox ears came out. "I didn't expect that one day I would lose control because of the male I hate the most." He pressed his beast ears on his head with guilt. "Congratulations, host. Xingye's villainy level has dropped 20 points. The current villainy level is 70%. You bastard, you have no limits. Can you stop bothering me when I'm doing something important?" But could the lovemaking with Xiao reduce Xingye's villainy level? I'm sorry, host. Please continue. Feeling that his owner was distracted, Xiao picked her up and pressed her against the wall, leaving her no room to wander. The second day, the alarm sounded 3 times before Xiaoxi opened her eyes. Today was the first day of class, and she didn't want to be late. Xiao packed some delicious cookies, and along with the instruments he had prepared, he put them in a space ring and put it on Xiaoxi's finger. After she finished breakfast, he picked her up and they got on the aircraft. Xiaoxi snuggled in Xiao's arms and took a nap. It wasn't until they arrived at the academy that her mind slowly cleared. She said goodbye to Xiao half-heartedly and entered. Xiao entered the lounge that the academy had specially prepared for the neutered males, where there was an advanced holographic simulation pod for him to browse the internet. There were also all kinds of training and entertainment equipment for them to pass the time. Xiao entered a training room with an open door and saw that there were already people inside. When he was about to leave, someone stopped him. "Aren't you the lone wolf Xiao who was kicked out of the clan? This is the rest area of the Royal Academy of Music. What is a low-status street beast doing here?" Xiao ignored the arrogant male with the hedgehog head and turned around to leave. "Wait! Do you think you still have that old thing protecting you? Kneel down and give me 3 headbutts. and I can consider letting you return to the clan to be a guard dog. Ha 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 ha! As the hedgehog head spoke, two males with the same arrogance on their faces walked to his side. Quote, Han Juo, who is this male? He looks familiar. Bayron couldn't remember where he had seen Xiao, but he felt a dislike upon seeing his face. Lower your voice! Don't bother the princess while she's in class. The green-haired male, Freer, rolled his eyes at Xiao and also thought he looked familiar. Han Juo, relying on the fact that he was the son of the current Wolf Clan leader, had a very arrogant attitude. You're nothing more than an orphan who was kicked out of the clan. A coward. How dare you be disrespectful to me? He pointed his finger at Xiao and snapped his fingers. A group of robotic guards with firearms surrounded Xiao. Xiao remained silent and evaluated the difference in strength between the two sides. The firepower of these robotic guards is too weak, they can be ignored. I am a 4-star ability user, and the 3 in front of me are also. However, these 3 are low-class 4th star, who rely on their status to level up. They are not on the same level as me, who earned my 4-star ability in the pile of alien beasts. 1 against 3 is not difficult. If you really want to pick a fight, we can have a duel. You dare? Han Juo's eyes flashed. Of course he knew he couldn't beat Xiao. Before, when the old clan leader was alive, he had also sought trouble with Xiao. But everyone who followed him, who hadn't been beaten by Xiao, no one could beat him. Today, he had 2 helpers on his side. The young master of the Hu clan, Bayron, and the young master of the Yu clan, Freer. Their abilities were not weak. He didn't believe that the 3 of them couldn't beat a coward. By what right do you ask me to challenge you? If you are not a noble person, don't blame us for teaching you a lesson. Han Juo didn't give Xiao the opportunity to speak or refuse, and he was the first to shoot an ice arrow that glittered with frost. Byron and Freer watched from the side. They believed that a low-status street beast was not worth them getting their hands dirty. Upon seeing Xiao dodge the attack with ease, Han Juo looked at his 2 companions. Please help! Bayron, reluctantly, conjured a metal cage with his hand, wanting to trap Xiao directly. A green beam of light shone on Freer's hand, and a thick vine quickly approached Xiao's feet to tie him up. Xiao had been eating and sleeping well these days, and with his owner's nourishing power, his spiritual energy had reached the peak of 4 stars. These 3 low-class 4 stars were like elders in his eyes. Their movements were as slow as if they were doing Tai Chi. The metal cage was easily blocked by an earth wall. When the 2 collided, the cage broke into pieces. The vine below didn't even touch Xiao's feet and was wrapped in a layer of sand and buried underground, turning into a pile of dry branches. Upon seeing that his companions' attacks were easily resolved, Han Juo shouted with frustration. Peak 4-star! Impossible! This coward lone wolf is just a bastard. Why does he level up as fast as him, who is the genius of the Wolf Clan? Xiao didn't answer the question, because he himself didn't know. In these 2 days, his heart felt strangely excited, and he could rise to 5 stars at any time. If it weren't for the fact that he was afraid that the noise he made would affect Shaoxi, and also afraid that the forces behind them could harm Shaoxi, Xiao could have ripped the heads off these 3 males. My owner is studying here, and I don't want to cause trouble. Han Juo, if you don't like me, challenge me openly. Don't pull dirty tricks like these. Your owner? Isn't that old thing's fiance who arranged a marriage for you? Miss of the Willy family? That monster who was raised in a cage? Han Juo's confidence, which had just been destroyed, returned. He pointed his finger at Xiao. What does the monster taste like? How does her body feel when you touch it? Bang! Before Han Juo finished speaking, he was hit to the ground by a half-meter-high stone fist. Xiao's forehead wrinkled slightly, and his eyes were full of malice. You're dead.